It's one of the busiest and most thrilling days on the USL calendar. It's the final day of group play in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. This is the 15th of 20 kickoffs today. It's San Antonio FC of the USL Championship welcoming the Chattanooga Redwolves of USL League One. A quick look at the Prinx Tires performance standings. Chattanooga eliminated. The focus here is on San Antonio. With the win, they clinched the group and a spot in the quarterfinal. But that is not their only scenario today. If they get it to penalties, they're through. Anything else, loss in regulation, has to do with Birmingham against Tulsa. They are tied right now 1-1 at half. So if you're San Antonio, you're looking to just put this away and get the win, but you do have a fallback plan just in case, and we're happy to have you with us on ESPN2. Alongside the ex-Sherman pro Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Devin, is this as simple as the higher division side, San Antonio, running through a lower division Chattanooga?
No, there's quality here from Chattanooga FC. Now, 90% of the time, the championship club in San Antonio should run away with this. But let's focus on that 10% and how Chattanooga can get it done. Lowest total passes in League One tells you that this team is transitional, and they are. But I've been very impressed in their final 30 yards, how they break teams down when squad starts to bunker in. They create a lot of one-on-one situations for themselves attacking-wise, which means you need individuals that can create the spectacular. That's where Omar Hernandez comes into play. Where you're going to see him be successful is a lot on the right-hand flank with this magical wand of a left foot that he has. He's got great vision, nice timing, the ability to combine both in tight-knit spaces, and as you can see, long areas of opportunity where he's able to pick out passes on the far post. But with this left foot, he's got dead-on accuracy that can just absolutely tear the cover off the ball. If Chattanooga are going to steal one tonight, it's because of his individual performance on that right-hand side.
Well, he's the focal point of the attack for Chattanooga. On the other side, San Antonio has been up and down defensively this season. That's why we take you ahead of the curve for what they've been doing on the back end.
Head coach Carlos Somoza said attacking, they need to be better coming into 2026. But the defensive foundation has started to slip with their success up high. Two reasons: gaps in the midfield and one-on-one pressing situations. Now, the pressing situations I'm less worried about when the timing is on. But the timing has gone awry over the last 5 matches. This gap is what you want to focus on. These 20, 30-yard increments where the back line is separated from the midfield. That cannot happen. When you do it, the numerical advantage goes to the opposition. You put your line in a bad spot, and defensively, they've been conceded goals. Good news is, back-to-back games where they've looked much better, and they're coming off a shutout against Monterey Bay.
And we caught up with Mitch Tainer, the anchor of that back line pregame, about their defensive stretch.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's just been natural from the jump, and as you know, it's a long season, so, you can start off hot, but it ebbs and flows. It's a roller coaster, and so it was really nice to get those shutouts the first couple games. But as teams start to get in a rhythm as well, they can throw some punches, and yeah, we got caught out a couple times, and we kind of had to rework what we were doing in the back, but I think we found a good formula right now, and I think we're primed to have a good defensive performance today.
Leading your Prinx Tires USL Cup group, great chance to go through to the quarterfinals, second in the Western Conference. I know the competitor in you is going to tell me, yes, this team has what it takes to win a title. How does the current form of the group right now relate to the team that wants to go lift another trophy and get a star above the crest later this season?
Yeah, well, I mean, no one's going to go undefeated this year. You can go on runs, but I think the mark of a champion is how you deal with adversity. So we've been dealing with that the last couple months through the summer stretch. And now hopefully we can continue the rhythm that we're in. Good defensive performance. We can get our offensive guys firing, get different guys on the score sheet. But, it's a mentality to win a title. And so we're building that as a team, building that with our culture. And, yeah, like I said, hopefully we can continue that today and, ride that into the last third of the season.
Redwolves come into this one in good form, winners of 3 of the last 4 looking to play. Spoiler, San Antonio, previous champions of the USL Championship. It's win and into the quarterfinals. It's next on ESPN2. Just about set to kick things off from Toyota Field in San Antonio. It's San Antonio FC welcoming the Chattanooga Red Wolves in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Final day of group play, win and into the quarterfinal for San Antonio. So Carlos Jamosa sends this 11 out to play.
Sanchez has been the preferred goalkeeper in cup play, so he comes in. Alex Cornelian on the back line is an interesting one, but in his stead, Lexi Suahi comes in. He's got the 5th best packing accuracy on the team. That's a good pairing for Tainer. Watch Suahi's relationship with Akeem Ward, especially with the movement in front of him. Nicky Hernandez and Hackinson trying to push Patino. The maintenance on the defensive side of the ball while maintaining width, very important. Against this Chattanooga Red Wolves team, they'll sit in this 4-4-2, but their key to success, get the outside backs high, allow the midfield to start to overexpand itself in possessional play in advanced positions. The final 30 yards is where this team wants to operate. Overloads on the outside, combination play atop the box, and as we showed you in the open, one-on-one situations to allow their attackers to go and explore their artistry to their finest.
Yeah, their head coach, Scott McKenzie, is excited about what this opportunity can bring for them tonight. Yes, eliminated mathematically from any progression through in this tournament, but an opportunity to build on what's been a positive recent stretch. They're coming off of a loss. That loss ended a 3-game winning streak for Chattanooga. They have games in hand in the regular season. They figure to be a team that's in the playoff conversation. They think they're a team that can go on and contest for a trophy this year. And tonight is an opportunity on the road to test themselves against a USL Championship side. And that championship side, San Antonio, again, clear-cut win and through to the quarterfinal. Mohamed Kalea, the referee, sends us on our way, and away we go. Final day of group play in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. It's San Antonio in the red from left to right, Chattanooga in the white from right to left. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Glad to have you with us this evening on ESPN2. And a quick start here for Chattanooga, earning an early set piece.
Well, that'll certainly be the messaging from head coach Scott McKenzie. Tempo. For Chattanooga Red Wolves, they want to play quick. Yes, they like to transition fast, but with all of the quality ball workers you have in the attacking third, they have no problem making you go to work defensively, chasing all around the pitch.
And it's square. The lower division side, 3rd division USL League One team in Chattanooga on a night like this. Set pieces can be of the utmost importance. We see it in this tournament. We see it in US Open Cup. When you want to pull those quote-unquote cup sets, you have to make the most of these moments. There's been a couple of upsets today. USL League One teams downing USL Championship teams. That's how the day started with Spokane Velocity beating the Oakland Roots. Chattanooga have drawn any inspiration from that. And they have a second corner in the early going. Omar Hernandez, a second effort now from the corner. Hernandez, better ball this time, and it's cleared by Danny Barbier. He wants to run up top. That's Luke Hackinson. Jordan Ayambila won the title with San Antonio here in 2022. He's bounced around since then with Chattanooga. That time in Vegas and Miami. 25-year-old from Ghana. Good early control from the visitors. Acosta. Kinsner. Feels like Kinsner has been around for over a decade. He's 23 years old. It's just because he started so young in 2020 in USL Championship with Tacoma Defiance. Bentley battling. Pedro Hernandez puts a foot in. If these first 2 minutes and 30 seconds are any indication, Chattanooga's not backing down here on the road.
It's on a rotation for the USL Championship squad and San Antonio FC. Sanchez in goal. Again, not surprised. This will be their 6th cup match, 4 in USL Cup and then 2 in Open Cup play. He started 4 of them, but a change on the back line in Suahi, in the midfield, on the width, and certainly on the front line. There will be disruption due to lack of consistency in personnel choice, but a lot of familiarity within this Red Wolves group that is starting to hit their stride. Again, runner-up for the Players' Shield against the regular season champion in USL League One. They finished second. Their head coach, Scott McKenzie, coming off Coach of the Year. Their depth and their roster being tested. Quality has certainly started to shine, though.
And this injury report brought to you by Tiger Bomb. Some key pieces missing on both sides. It's really been the walking wounded this season for Chattanooga. It's part of our conversation with the head coach, Scott McKenzie, and they understand the challenge at foot, but he also doesn't really have a chance to rotate guys given the circumstances because of all the injuries. The way he put it, he's got about 16 guys he can rely on right now. So even if he wanted to rotate because they're eliminated here and focus on the regular season, he can't. So instead, the silver lining, put the guys out there, good opportunity to showcase themselves here against the higher division side. And a goal kick comes of this.
Certainly doesn't help when you look at the insult to injury that they've already been eliminated from the competition as well. So darned if you do, darned if you don't.
It presents an interesting opportunity, though, as Scott McKenzie looks on, arms folded. This tournament is technically 3 years old. This is the second iteration that features both the USL Championship and USL League One. And something he mentioned in the conversation, opportunities for players. There's been plenty of players on USL Championship sides that have been fighting for minutes who maybe then get loaned to a League One side and become starters, and vice versa. There's been plenty of starters on League One teams that have shown out well and then taken a loan or a transfer up to the USL Championship. So that's what's also at stake tonight for the Red Wolves.
Well, I'm sure Scott McKenzie would love to get his players poached at this point in time in the year, given how tight the margins are in roster selection. But to your point, numerous conversations coming into this season about how players picked up in the offseason last year were directly contributed to the opposition faced during Prinx Tires Cup.
Mitch Tainer, knock on the back of the head, looks to be all right. The hair gel might have spared him. Captain of the San Antonio team, possibly robbed of league MVP in 2022. He was still the defender of the year on a team that went on to lift the trophy. At least in our estimations, we don't get a vote, but could have been the MVP that season.
This was the year that definitively maybe bypassed the opportunity to have one. He should have won it. There has never been a more impressive defensive performance by an individual that was all about the collective in that 2022 title-winning team for San Antonio. Great in one-on-one situations. You push him up high. What an aerial threat he can be. But what you want to focus on tonight and how he affects this team is defensively, making sure that they are more stable. They've gotten back to their roots in that sense. And as they start to move forward, man, does a left foot this young man have. Can spray it all over the pitch. Loves to hit these 40-yard diagonals that open up the width for San Antonio.
Ramos striding ahead, 26-year-old captain of the U.S. Virgin Islands national team, 20 caps in his career. Dangerous player off the right side for the Red Wolves. Now it's Nicky Hernandez into space. Akeem Ward latches on. Patino running through. Patino swung and missed.
The addition of Nicky Hernandez and the absence of Jorge Hernandez creates more of an out-and-out 10 in these situations. Now Patino's going to want to stay high. Hackinson will release, but the most important thing is maintaining width, because as you move in transition, you want to stretch this back line. Really good ball down to the channel that allows them to do so. Not the greatest service coming back in from Akeem Ward, but an excellent run and good build for San Antonio.
Santiago Patino was a big piece in 2022 for San Antonio when they won the title. He had went away from the club to Brazil shortly thereafter. Quick look at goal here, and Richard Sanchez making the save. Omar Hernandez found the ball, found the space, just went for it. Patino last year re-signing with San Antonio, had trouble finding a home. They brought him back, waiting for him to kick back into that full form. He hasn't scored yet this regular season. Look at how San Antonio got here. Shootout win against Birmingham in the opener. And then Knoxville and Tulsa getting by them. Keep that in mind as the night goes along. If we're tied after 90 minutes, it goes directly to a shootout. The winning team in the shootout picks up the bonus point. Doesn't really matter for San Antonio tonight whether they do or don't win the shootout if it gets there. As long as they pick up a point by getting there, they would clinch the top spot in the group. So it'll trickle out for a corner for San Antonio. Their only danger tonight is if they lose in regulation and elsewhere. It's Birmingham topping Tulsa. Carlos Chamosa, head coach in his second year with the San Antonio team. Former U.S. men's national teamer, part of that World Cup, 2002. Overall happy with the way this team is chugging along. It's been an awkward stretch of schedule. Last couple of weeks, it's been on again, off again. Play a game, 10 days off. Play a game, 10 days off. Kalov drops it in from the corner on the volley. It's wide. You can start to sense amid the quirky schedule, they're starting to find a rhythm again, San Antonio. And now starting to find their way 10 minutes into this one.
And the bigger thing for San Antonio across the season has just all been about balance. So many teams chasing it for sure, but for a squad defensively impenetrable to start the year. Ideas matriculating to the attacking units going forward. Gaps have opened up within their different units, and that's where they've started to struggle. Health, as for everybody, has come into play as well. But within that, a return to that identity, that we can still go produce goals here and there, but being defensively stable is how they are going to win a title. And that's where they've gotten back to basics.
A big piece missing from that attack tonight as they look to go forward and create those chances. And Jorge Hernandez, a player who might be on his way to winning MVP this year. We talk about maybe Mitch Taintor could have been in that conversation a couple of years ago. Jorge Hernandez will certainly be in that conversation this year. 5 goals and 5 assists to his name. Not available for selection today for San Antonio. So who will step up, who will create in his stead? That's to be determined. Barbier. Let's see, Suwahi back to Barbier. Former U.S. Youth National teamer, Danny Barbier, part of that 2017 U17 World Cup, or pardon me, in 2015, alongside the likes of Christian Pulisic and that group. Barbier now the middle of this back three. Mitch Taintor moved over to the left side of that. That's what he does, as you mentioned earlier, Devin, with his left foot. The ball he's able to play just maybe unlock something a little different for San Antonio. In
the absence of the playmaker, Jorge Hernandez, you do get different ideas here where Santi Patino in that 9, really good with his back to goal. So he can drop in as a false 9. You can start to overload with Nicky Hernandez real quick. It's a 4-man midfield conversation, and that's not even bringing the dynamicism of the wingbacks into play. So there are options in the absence of what has been, for a lot of people, an early call, an MVP for Jorge Hernandez.
Kalov's corner low, bounces. Flores Blanco had a couple of options more simply in front of him. Tried to go wide, and now it's all the way back for Richard Sanchez.
And moments like this are where you have to be careful if you're Chattanooga. They're very good at chasing an open space. That's how they find a lot of success going forward. But if you don't move together, that's where they get themselves into trouble. This front line will rotate. Hernandez is given a lot of freedom within it. He'll bounce to the right, up to the top. But any one of the wingers that steps too soon immediately puts their team in harm's way if they don't have the group coming together.
Here's Taintor. His first look always upfield, goes short. Flores Blanco. Suwahi hits it long. Delivery toward Patino. Adewole got a foot to it. Way off his line, Richard Sanchez. And clearing, alert to that long ball. We've seen it a couple of times already for the Red Wolves.
A quick change here where, again, with that freedom for Omar Hernandez, they pop him onto the front line. The vision we talked about in the open, his ability to draw players out and then immediately find space in behind. Near perfect, if not for Richard Sanchez in goal for San Antonio. That's also going to be a timing thing where now you recognize the goalkeeper's playing off his line. You don't necessarily have to play direct. Drop down in, play the other way. Right? The back line will start to move directionally to shield support. And if you know they're going to jump the gun, they're just going to open up space on the opposite side.
Sliced through on the service. Blocked away by Kinsner. Going to keep that in play. Thought it was going to be out for a corner. Gives it away anyway to San Antonio. Toward Hawkinson at the back post. Lurking was Nicky Hernandez. Hernandez battling Mbilla. And a throw for San Antonio.
The good news for head coach Scott McKenzie at Chattanooga is both of his outside backs, Josh Ramos and Jordan Mbilla, really good in open field of play. A ton of speed at their disposal. Great at closing space down quickly. So that will not be an issue as San Antonio starts to move into these pockets. More so concerned about the space in front of them. The midfielders, as much as they hunt, they also get a little bit narrow. That's how they find success in combinations, but they tend to kind of overindulge at times on the width of the field by how narrow they get centrally. Obviously, he's paying attention to the notes on the iPad and is clued into the broadcast.
You know, I was about to say something smart about what he was doing over there, and then I saw him fidgeting with the on button, and yeah. I couldn't salvage it.
Yeah, wrong password.
Third year at the helm, Scott McKenzie. So successful last year. Coach of the Year honors garnered in USL League One. iPads, different story. While he figures out how to unlock that, San Antonio tries to figure out a way to unlock this Chattanooga back line. Quarter of an hour gone, still scoreless. Elsewhere, it's still 1-1 between Birmingham and Tulsa, the other game of consequence in this group. Again, if it's tied after 90 minutes, straight to a shootout to pick up that bonus point. If Birmingham wins in regulation or the shootout, it puts the pressure on San Antonio for the duration of the 90 minutes here tonight. If Birmingham falter, be it in regulation or in the shootout, then San Antonio is home free, and they don't have to concern themselves with the later stage of this game. So with 30 minutes remaining in that game, it should finish right around the time we get to halftime, and San Antonio will know going into the second half what they do or don't need. As it stands, they know coming in, a win simplifies things. Back to Jerez, 40-year-old goalkeeper. Longtime starter for Guatemala, 63 caps, 19 clean sheets. And since retiring from the national team, last call-up was in 2023 in the CONCACAF Nations League. Suahi. Nicky Hernandez, Kirkalov. Swung all the way around. Flores Blanco. Kalov. Hakeem Ward. Lengthiest spell of possession so far for the home side here at Toyota Field. Barbier not out on the same page. Hawkinson is thinking about dummying that through, but nobody behind him. '28-year-old Barbier. First season with San Antonio, came over from Lexington. Spent 3 years over in England and West Bromwich as you'd set up before moving on to Romania, Germany, and then finding a home in the United States. Beron. Late whistle. Beron fouled. Quickly put back into play.
Certainly a lot more movement for San Antonio FC within the midfield. And as good as the MVP caliber of their playmaker Jorge Hernandez is, a little bit more onus on what he can provide as opposed to what you need to get out of other players. So Nicky Hernandez rotating underneath. I'd like to see Luke Hackinson, 7, top right side of your screen, a little bit further up and higher, put some more fressure on the right flank. That'll allow guys like Mitch Tainer, Alexi Suai to help control the tempo off the back line, be more free-flowing in their overall attack, also releasing Kurt Kalov in the midfield for San Antonio. 6 middle of your screen. Just let him push through, change the overall shape of Chattanooga.
Good step from McKee. Ward keeps it in play. Ward cuts it inside. Still scanning. Could he have gone quicker there? Kalov, end line. Kalov delivering. Bounces. Patino and Anawole were both looking for it. Chattanooga able to clear. "65 minutes gone now elsewhere. Birmingham and Tulsa still tied at 1. Worked through for Ward. Center. Dangerous ball for McKee Ward.
That's a good movement a moment ago from San Antonio FC. Vision, this is what we were just talking about. Kurt Kalov releasing high, allowing him to become more of a playmaker. As you come in, whoa! They get away with one there. Toby Adewale in his right arm.
It's Tainer trying to make it up anyway. Hernandez after the save. Patino trying the spectacular. Chattanooga fighting for their lives right now. Waves of pressure from San Antonio. Ward blocked. Dynamic start to this one for Akeem Ward. He's bounced around a lot in USL Championship, has been a key player wherever he's been. Ward with Loudoun, Birmingham, North Carolina, Oakland, RGV, Memphis, Colorado Springs, and now finally San Antonio, but everywhere a starter, everywhere a creative, former MLS draft pick of DC United. Does not disappoint wherever he ends up.
As much as we praise Mitchell Tainer from the back line, his distribution, let us not forget that, dear Lord, can he rip it as well. Really clean ball just outside the top of the box to the bottom corner. Confrontational by Chattanooga on the back end.
Mbilla. Nodded calmly all the way back for Richard Sanchez. 2 starts this season for Richard Sanchez. Has been the starter in the past for San Antonio. 27 starts last season. Life of a goalkeeper, journeyman at times. Kansas City, North Texas, Los Angeles, Hartford, Memphis, San Antonio. He's found a home here now, 3 years running. And a corner coming for San Antonio. Here's a look at the live standings in Group 3. It's a 2-horse race between San Antonio and Birmingham. Birmingham 1-1, 67th minute right now against FC Tulsa. Again, if Birmingham were to win in regulation or the shootout, it would put pressure on San Antonio. Lumped in off the short corner routine. This is a San Antonio team that doesn't want to leave anything to chance regardless of the fact that the other game might finish first. They want to just simply beat a Chattanooga team that is a division lower and keep what has been a positive recent stretch rolling.
You want to maintain quality form, continue to provide confidence, but go back to the group and how it relates to Birmingham. Birmingham have to win in regulation no matter what, because if they want any chance at all, even with the San Antonio win to win the group, they got to be at least on 9 points, which is the best they can do to get a wild card position.
Ward delivering, back post, bounding around, kept out. Ricardo Jerez got his left hand to it.
Dangerous service from Akeem Ward on this near touchline. They continue to attack this right flank. Chattanooga's got to rotate out faster. It's 3v2, spacing is off, and just smart. Right atop the 6. That's a tough one, though, for Mitchell Tainer. People at home are going to think, oh, he missed it. Not at all. 2 players on the backside, 3 in front of him. This is a very difficult ball, and in the moment, as you react, to get your laces back across it, one of the most difficult things to do.
Kalov's corner, Tainer's header, denied again by Jerez.
And to cap that conversation about wild card within Prinx Tire's USL Cup, Spokane won earlier. They're on 9. Virtually, Sacramento are on 9. Boise within that game have a chance to make some noise and get themselves up there as well. Colorado Springs already there. New Mexico, El Paso. I'm only through 2 groups.
Right.
We've talked about 6 teams. 19 of the teams playing today, coming in, had an opportunity to move into one of the final 8 spots. Now, 2 already gone. Colorado Springs and the Rowdies had secured quarterfinal spots prior to the completion of group play, but that's how tight the margins are. If you're the Legion, you cannot afford to lose in regulation. You need 3 points and then hope that other teams around you start to suffer.
And mainly this team right here against Chattanooga. Birmingham do have that, I guess, slight advantage. They could be the leaders in the clubhouse and put the pressure on San Antonio, but they have to do something in these next 20 minutes. Centered. Akeem Ward almost found a way. His shin guard went flying. He was looking for a penalty. And Bill up. Shanked in the clearance effort from Kinsner.
I understand that Chattanooga want to be able to play high quickly in behind the space vacated. What I'd like to see right now, though, is a little bit more work rate out of Grayson Mercer on the front line. Bring Hernandez central. You don't necessarily want him to be an out-and-out 10, but he's working too much across areas of the field. He's on the left side of your screen, orange boots. Let him sit right there as a pocket player for a couple of minutes. So what it's going to do is it's going to put more pressure on San Antonio centrally. Defensively, they're going to have to work harder instead of all this open space they've got to operate through right now.
Free kick coming for Chattanooga. Those transitional moments where San Antonio have to be leery. Lucio Beron picks up the yellow.
I wonder how much was a possible tug from behind as opposed to Beron and the actual contact in the moment. Is there anything in it there? Ugh. If there is any of the ball, he definitely nicks the player first, and Matt Bentley, well done job by Bentley, just driving through the heart of the midfield for San Antonio. But to my point, notice where Omar Hernandez was. Just off the left shoulder of Bentley, occupying that sort of 10-type role. You force the 2 6s in Bodon and Kalov to start to make decisions that will create more one-on-one situations for Chattanooga. That's where they thrive.
Short from the free kick. Into the channel, flag stayed down. Going to ground on the challenge, had to get it right. Nicky Hernandez, he did. He got the last part wrong and concedes the corner. Nearly a half an hour. Some things that Scott McKenzie might be happy with for this Chattanooga team on the road. They've been direct. They've played to their identity. They've held strong defensively when they've had to. Can they nick one on the road? Long throw, not it down. Awkward bounce for Sanchez, but he deals with it.
to your point, as dominant as it's been for San Antonio FC, it's not like they've been that threatening going forward. If you're a numbers guy, obviously I know you are, Nate. Joe, it's 0.09 at XG, right? There's only 4 total shots, only 2 on target. Even Chattanooga's hit it once.
Swahi lost it. Some space here. Omar Hernandez, the danger man for Chattanooga, feeds it across. On the turn, Bentley back to goal, lays it off. Wessels, not as clean as contact. Nice tackle. It's your first look, though, at what Omar Hernandez can do when he has a pocket of space. Dangerous going forward for Chattanooga. Coutinho.
I told you, open area defending, you are not going to get by Jordan Ibila. Just really well done. Standing up, Santi Patino.
Pedro Hernandez to Omar Hernandez. Half an hour gone in this first half alongside the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa, glad to have you with us this evening on ESPN2. Final day of group play in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. 20 total matches. This is the 15th of 20 kickoffs. For San Antonio, any sort of point picked up, be it a shootout loss, shootout win, regulation win, and they would clinch the group at a spot in the quarterfinals. Elsewhere, Birmingham 1-1 against Tulsa. There's 15 minutes remaining. If Birmingham cannot find a regulation win, then right around halftime of this game, San Antonio will learn that they've already clinched the group. Still, though, for a team that is starting to get back on track after a quirky schedule that has seen a couple of stretches of lengthy time off, Carlos Chamosa wants his group to come out and win, keep that momentum going. Second place team in the regular season in the Western Conference as well, with a game in hand on Orange County. Team with title aspirations in both USL Cup and in the regular season. A treble is not out of the question. For winning the Players' Shield is the most points in the regular season. That's the goal for this team. Certainly have those aspirations. They have the pedigree. 2022 title winners in the USL Championship. And they put it all together. Hernandez. Ward. Muddying the waters a bit, the Red Wolves in the midfield. You can tell the San Antonio team is lacking something without Jorge Hernandez and the creativity he brings. Leading MVP candidate in the USL Championship with 5 goals and 5 assists for San Antonio.
A friendly reminder, maybe lacking not only in the starting 11, he's not even available for selection tonight. So the idea of bringing him off the bench is not one whatsoever. You do have Christian Sorto, who started to heat up in the 9 position. Health-wise, they've gotten their winger striker Diego Pacheco back as well. I still look at the lack of production at the 9 position overall, though, where this team needs to take a step. You have the ability, while it's not going to be the same, to recreate ideas in the absence of Jorge Hernandez. They do not have enough production, though. The movement is stale. You know, if it's Patino, if it's Sorto, they're never on the same page as everybody else when they start to attack going forward. Runs are off, timing is off. And then personnel and their box entries just never really hit full stride.
12 minutes remaining, still 1-1 between Birmingham and Tulsa. Carlos Chamosa and staff maybe don't know that yet. And their focus is here. Kick again for Chattanooga. Here's Beron, who is involved. He's already on a yellow. The game's only yellow.
Silver lining coming out of some of these stoppages over the last couple of minutes, taking the air out of the game. It's allowed Chattanooga to slow things down. One of the common misnomers you get for this Red Wolves squad is their directivity of play. You look at total touches, passes, things of that nature. The numbers tell you they just want to be end-to-end, right? And they sit back and bunker. That's not the case at all. There's top quality just outside the 18 where combinations are aplenty. And so when the game slows down, they catch their breath. They can strategize a bit more, start to get better movement off the ball where it's not just all of this open field chasing that they had to do for opening 25 minutes. There's too much work off the ball defensively.
Kalov almost sneaks it through for Atkinson. Referee coming over to calm things down between Patino and Wessels. Ramos. Wide for Ayambila. Costa. Trapping it back in for Wessels. Hernandez. Kins there. Ayambila brought down, advantage played. Wessels from a long way out, threatening Richard Sanchez just over the bar.
I love this step from Ayambila. He's so versatile off the back line. Center back who operates at the outside back spot as well. And the way that he drives with his top end speed draws that San Antonio midfield in and pocket opens up. Again, if you are able to get a breakthrough tonight from Chattanooga, San Antonio's line will be high. They'll counter quickly, or a quick turnover where these playmakers can poke their head out for a brief second, throw their name in lights. You got to be holding your breath right now if you're Scott McKenzie, head coach of the Red Wolves. They are the walking wounded right now. Backline already makeshift with injuries about halfway through the season. Ayambila rotating out from his current left center back position.
Even for Ayambila, on a personal note, it's a game you want to carry on in against one of your former teams, a team you had a small role in winning a championship, 8 appearances down the stretch for San Antonio that year in 2022. Still a chance to prove that you do belong maybe a level higher in the USL Championship. Spent time with San Antonio, Vegas, and Miami for these last 2 years now with Chattanooga. It's also part of a larger conversation, though. I say a player who wants to rise back to the USL Championship in Ayambila, but the gap is closing quickly between the Championship and League One, and that's been a real recurring theme from the conversations we've had with all coaches across the spectrum here in this tournament and an Open Cup when we've had a chance. Offside flag comes up and gives us a chance to dig a little bit deeper there. Devin, you've been around this league longer than I, and even I've been around it long enough now to see every year it feels like when you get to these cup competitions, if you brought the casual observer in and said, hey, which of these two teams is the second division team, which is the third division team, it's getting to a point where in some cases it is indistinguishable.
Well, there are 3 things that I would attack there. The first part would be, yes, the gap is closing overall. So the mean has become tighter. Top end for USL Championship is still going to regularly run away against their League One competitors. So that's the second part of this.
Well, the third, I would also say thank you very much for dating me, but also bringing yourself into the mix. So much obliged. It's a proving ground, though, that multi-tiered, though promotion and relegation not at play right now, that target of 2028, much easier to digest as you and I are chatting now because of the idea of free-flowing from players. What will then up be, because of competition and their success or lack thereof, teams jumping up and down, and the necessity that the talent pool has to continue to rise. If you want to be able to maintain the level, regardless of division that you are in this USL pyramid, the talent level will have to continue to grow. And yes, the past 3 years, it has been astronomical for both leagues, to be fair.
That's a larger conversation, too, of player development and a larger interest in the game. There were plenty of takes flying around after United States' defeat earlier in the week against Belgium, but the one thing that is not deniable, there's so many more talented players coming through the system where the future is bright for 2030 and beyond, and it starts here. The last couple of years, you look at the players that have gone from USL to Europe and have really risen through the ranks quickly in that player pathway from academy upwards. As more and more players come through the ranks, plenty more talent to disperse. Here's Ward, dropping it back inside, cleared by Hernandez. Birmingham have taken a 2-1 lead over FC Tulsa in the 84th minute. So now the pressure can ratchet up a bit for San Antonio if Birmingham holds on. Five minutes left in regulation there, plus stoppage time. Remember, it's a Birmingham regulation win that would put the pressure on San Antonio. Live standings would have both the teams on 9 points. Head-to-head, the first tiebreaker. San Antonio got the best of Birmingham in a shootout when they met, so that tiebreaker goes San Antonio's way. Out wide to Ward. Awkward first touch, but regathers. So it would set the stage in the second half where if Chattanooga can upset San Antonio in regulation, then Birmingham would go through as the group winners elsewhere. All San Antonio needs is a point.
The defensive line's better for Chattanooga Red Wolves, and one thing I would say is as clean as they've become in their decision-making off the ball, they're still struggling for presence on this near touchline. Pedro Hernandez, pretty big gap between he and left back Jordan Bila. And within that, Akeem Ward just continues to find a ton of space to operate within. They targeted that early when he was deeper, but as Chattanooga have started to come out of their shell a little bit, I'd continue to play into this channel, especially with Nicky Hernandez's willingness to rotate in and out. The work rate of Akeem Ward off the ball. Just play in. You're going to win the conversation about speed. And now you just need good service and the numbers in the box.
Kellogg. Oh, he thought about it. All the way back for Mitchell Tainter. Borbier. Peron. Ward settles. Ward delivers. Barbier finds it. Threading it through. Flores Blanco on the ground looking for Patino and Atkinson. Didn't reach either. Toby Adewole. Good defensive play. Given away though. Adewole clears. Flag will stay down here. But Pedro Hernandez. Oh. It is a late offside flag that does come up. Either way, it would have been a handball probably.
San Antonio fortunate though. I like the aggression of Danny Barbier, but as he pivots, Lexi Sawahi, right center back for San Antonio, has to then lock down the central center back spot, and Pedro Hernandez found some open space. Timing was off, but nearly executed well by Chattanooga. And that's one of the other things too, is one of the lower division teams in League One.
Hernandez through, Patino going for goal! Took a little bit of time, but Santiago Patino breaks through for San Antonio.
His nickname is Playoff Patino. Cup runneth over year after year, certainly en route to the 2022 title. Showing up in big moments. And he thrives in these tight-knit areas right atop the 18. Great back-to-goal presence by the striker. Look at his hands. Feeling the center back off him. Just drifts into that gray area. That's tough for a defender. Eric Kinsner. You're struggling because if you jump too high, you concede a lot of space in behind. But if you don't go with the runner, now you've put yourself in a real bad spot. Indecision opens up opportunity for Patino. Clean touch across the body. Allows him to step right through, cut back across, and thrust San Antonio into the lead.
1 minute of stoppage tacked on at the end of this first half. How good that must feel for Santiago Patino. Hadn't scored yet in the regular season. Can they tack on another one here? Yes! Kurt Kalov doubling down before the end of this first half. San Antonio pulling away.
It's very clear there's a bat line from our broadcast booth direct to the boys in San Antonio on the front line. Said we needed more movement out of the 9, needed Kalov to release out of the midfield. Back-to-back sequences, you get both. Love this. Look at him drive right through the heart of the midfield from Chattanooga. The negative touch into the space forces defenders to then change their overall runs. It also pauses the goalkeeper. The idea that near post initially is the target. When he shifts to his right foot, now Hedges has to start to move laterally. With pace, very difficult, especially with the marksmanship that was Kurt Kalov in open run of play.
You can't help but wonder if somebody from the bench got some sort of communication that Birmingham took a lead, or if it's just pure coincidence. Because as soon as we announced that Birmingham goal went in, it feels like San Antonio kicked it up a couple of notches. And now, firmly in control. It would take 3 Chattanooga goals to torpedo San Antonio's chances. Remember, it's a San Antonio regulation loss coupled with that Birmingham regulation win that would turn the tables in this group. And the half ends much differently than we thought it was going to about 3.5 minutes ago. San Antonio had been frustrated. They'd been knocking on the door. They couldn't find a way through until Santiago Patino did so in the 45th minute. Kurt Kalov a minute later in stoppage time made it 2. Elsewhere, there was news of a Birmingham goal, and there was a little hint of doubt cast on San Antonio coming through as the group winners. But San Antonio answered the bell. A 2-0 lead in total control as we go into the break. These fans at Toyota Field on Margaritaville night It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and right now San Antonio is enjoying their time atop the group and in front in this game. In a hurry, San Antonio with a 2-0 lead over the Chattanooga Red Wolves. The first half that cast a good bit of doubt on how things would be here in this group. We're starting to really see the picture become a lot clearer here in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. Welcome back inside the booth. Alongside the ex-Sherman Pro Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Devin, we spent the first half waxing poetic about how Birmingham, they get the goal they need, and here they are. In San Antonio, what are they doing? It's 0-0. Can Chattanooga play spoiler? Now it's 2-0 San Antonio, and some of that is erased, the hype about what the second half could be. But this is a tournament now where you don't necessarily know what's coming next because Birmingham's still alive in the wild card, and it's going to be a chaotic next hour plus.
Regardless of what San Antonio did, Birmingham had to get a result. So they're going to finish 3-1. They'll finish on 9 points. 9 points seems to be the number in this crazy format that is the USL Cup. Here's the thing about it. They want to drive action. They want to drive goals. 20 games coming into the final day of group play. 19 out of 40 teams had an opportunity to either win their group or get a wild card match. Group 4 has 7 teams in it. 5 have a chance to either hold the top spot or go through as a wild card. When you started to bring the championship and League One together, this is the idea of what a cup competition could look like, and also a prelude to what could be pro rel in 2028. This is the last day dramatics that everybody wants.
And beyond that, these coaches, these players, they love moments like this, because if you're San Antonio, you might have a situation later in the year, in October, on decision day, where you are getting word from elsewhere about what a goal means here, what a goal means there. So this is good for the players too. This is the crucible of the intensity that you're looking to foster as the year goes on.
Let's stay relevant to San Antonio for a second. Agree with all the ideas that could be. How about the necessity of what needs to be for this team up top in the 9 spot? For players coming off the bench with opportunity. They want to attack more. Head coach Carlos Somoza says, no matter what, we need that one guy to step up. We got 2 in the first half. Both that usually are coming off the bench, now they've got an argument for being a starter.
Carlos Somoza might nitpick about how long it took to get those couple of goals, but I'm sure he's happy they came in the end. Patino and Kalov got it done. San Antonio leading 2-0 at the break. More to come from Toyota Field. It's the Prinx Tires USL Cup on ESPN2. Fans had to hold their breath for a little while, but San Antonio, with 2 goals just over a minute apart, turned the tables right before halftime. Take you to the highlights of how things went down on a night where they could clinch a spot in the quarterfinals and win the group. There's bad news elsewhere. Birmingham took a lead, but San Antonio has some good news of their own.
Took 3/4 of an hour to find a breakthrough. They really started to establish dominance on the outside. I love Akeem Ward here, holding Jordan Iambila. What it does is forces the center back into a one-on-one Kinsner against Patino as he starts to get indecision by the great footwork. That slight hesitation then opens up the pocket, and then Patino goes to work. Beautiful coming back across the body. It's 100 seconds between goals. We continue to ask for more creativity and specifically
the stretch that could be the movement from Kurt Kaloff. You hold my beer. What a touch. Negative into space, through the midfield. What was the hearts of Chattanooga, and what was otherwise a very solid opening 45 minutes of play. And in a 100-second span, San Antonio doubled their lead. They struggled for ideas overall. Yes, they carried the brunt of the possession, but up until that final minute of play, they only had 2 shots on target. That's what Chattanooga need to say going into the dressing room. If they are going to get back into this game, it will be about maintaining solidarity within their mind that we can fight through these tough moments, and then countering the other way. San Antonio FC have to be more dynamic going forward, just like we saw at the tail end of the first half.
Last 45 minutes, these stats and the scoreline would have looked a lot different if it got cut off at 44 minutes. But San Antonio, right at the buzzer, put 2 in, and they are in total control of this game and of the group in the Prinx Tigers USL Cup. Let's take a look at the travel map brought to you by Best Western. Focus on Kurt Kaloff.
Let's start with numbers. Second most passes in the final third, second most touches in the final third, and obviously picked out his goal just before halftime. But it's about his dominance of space centrally. Kurt Kaloff for San Antonio FC. He locked things down early. He was clean with the ball, but they needed an idea maker. They needed a player that was willing to drive through, start to create chaos against what was a very resolute shape of Chattanooga Red Wolves. That's where San Antonio FC got themselves back into this game. The individual balance of Kurt Kaloff and his central playmaking ability in the first half.
And after such a difficult first half, ending of the first half, at least for Chattanooga, they'll make a trio of changes that we'll get to you coming out of the break here. That'll be San Antonio in the red from right to left, Chattanooga in the white from left to right. Remember, it's a final elsewhere. Birmingham won it in regulation 3-1 over Tulsa. So San Antonio needs at least a point tonight, or sorry, just a point tonight in order to win the group. So whether that's holding on to this lead, whether that's conceding and finishing 2-2 going to penalties, that's enough. Whatever the case is, as long as they pick up a point from this one, they will win the group now. Tiebreaker is head-to-head, and San Antonio beat Birmingham in group play. So that's why they have that safety net, and away we go in this second half with Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. San Antonio 2, Chattanooga nothing. Second half of this final match of Prinx Tires USL Cup play. Group play, that is, for both these teams. San Antonio may be on their way to the quarterfinals as things stand. Three changes at the half for Chattanooga. So Aaron Lombardi come on for Omar Hernandez. Yanis Lilin come on for Joshua Ramos, and Christian Engman come on for Toby Adewole. So three changes that could mean some maneuvering for Chattanooga. From the Birmingham Legion organization watching now, welcome. You are the biggest Chattanooga Red Wolves fans there are. Now Birmingham still have another passageway through if San Antonio holds on for at least a point in this second half. And that is through the wild card, where the format works here in Prinx Tires USL Cup. It's the 7 group winners plus 1 wild card team that goes through to the quarters. The draw for the quarters will be taking place on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern on the USL's YouTube channel. And Lucas will be a part of the draw, and so too will Devin Kerr. Hopefully you don't mess it up. No pressure. No pressure. Oh.
The dramatization via your words of encouragement never cease to amaze me.
Worked enough draws with you in the past to know that you take the job very seriously, and it's Dan that people have to be worried about.
There you go.
So no pressure, Dan, if you're tuning in. San Antonio has been tightening things up defensively the last couple of games. Now they're starting to wake up again, perhaps in the attack. And in that first half, can they keep it going now off the set piece? Lombardi charging away. And a free kick coming. Yellow card shown to Mitchell Tainter. Remember, the only yellow from the first half belongs to Lucio Beron on the San Antonio side.
It felt like he took a knock, Lucio Beron, inside the box when this set piece got whipped in. Just back over the shoulder there. Difficult for me to see how that was a side to side, and then if you're Mitch Tainter, you almost have to bring the player down in the moment. Stopping the promising attack. Always going to be a yellow, but smart by the captain. Too much space for Chattanooga to step into.
Shimosa perplexed. Free kick coming, nonetheless, for Chattanooga. Well, we've alluded the whole night that there are 20 total games and plenty of groups up for grabs. One of the other interesting ones to keep an eye on that involves perhaps 2 USL League One upsets over USL Championship sides, by the way. Earlier today, Spokane Velocity beat the Oakland Roots and put the pressure on Sacramento Republic. Boise are up 1-0 on Sacramento, which would put Spokane Velocity into the quarterfinal. So we are seeing some of that drama play out of USL League One sides pulling the upsets and maybe finding a way through to the quarterfinals. Chattanooga haven't had the chances to stun San Antonio yet, but now the set piece. Lombardi whips one in, dangerous ball. That was their best look.
Last year, there was only one USL League One team that had 2 wins against championship squads in regulation. To our conversation in the first half about narrowing the talent gap, that is happening more and more in the 2026 edition.
And the other key point of that potential result right now, and again, things are not fully wrapped up, it could have ramifications on second place and that wild card spot, because you're looking at a Sacramento team that is now on 8 points. They could have been on that group of teams with 9 points. By the way, in the incentive in this tournament to score as many goals as you can, Miami FC, they completely demolished Sarasota Paradise today by a 5-0 scoreline. And what that does is it puts them in the lead right now for that wild card spot on 9 points with 11 goals. Kalov. Still with it, Kalov. Looking back post. It's a Miami FC team, by the way, that garnered some recent fame because of Eloy Room, their goalkeeper, and his historic performance at the World Cup for Curacao on that team with Miami striker Jurgen Locadia. Eloy Room had 15 saves, most ever in a 90-minute match in the World Cup. They could be on their way through as the wildcard team in Prinx Tire's USL Cup.
All the more important, by the way, that currently, this is virtually, and there's a lot to play within all these games. Legion have the other one. They have the other one. 9 points, 7 goals for. I mean, they had struggled to put up goals throughout the course of their season, so 3 on the night. A huge talking point for the Birmingham Legion, even if this result doesn't go their way. That's makes you question dinner a little bit further.
Yeah.
Probably just got the wind knocked out of him.
That's what we'll go with.
Yep.
Kalov. San Antonio closing in on solidifying being one of the 7 group winners to go with the 1 wild card, 8 teams quarterfinal. They would do so undefeated in this group. That 1 draw turned into a shootout win over Birmingham. The 11 points would be enough, more than enough, to win Group 3. Chattanooga have time, though. Can they find that first one? Grayson Mercer on the doorstep, nearly.
That's a really nice run by Mercer on the back post. Had space atop the 18 Chattanooga had, but it's the initial ball in from behind by Kinsner. Really impressive. Keep talking about their directivity of play when the high line of San Antonio is present. Love the cutback. Swahi gets wrong-footed. His hips struggle to come back across the body. And just a plethora of space for Chattanooga to work into. I say this in the nicest of ways, by the way. This tournament's a mess. It's awesome. Again, we talked about it at halftime. Just the idea of going forward with goals is one thing, but the interchange of opportunity for these teams, wouldn't say it was a foregone conclusion, but even with Spokane's win, you would think Sac had a decent chance, right? Not the case right now. They're actually sitting 3rd virtually in Group 1. Louisville, who have struggled for overall form, 5 teams in Group 4. Yeah, they ran away with it against Lexington, big brother, little brother, and they have sealed their fate. Group 4, they win it. Hartford, they're done. Charleston and Charlotte, that's going to go right now to the 3rd tiebreaker in group play, which is goals for overall. I mean, just every which way you turn, it's being drama. I'm here for it.
There's been plenty of conversations about how to tweak it to better suit some of the teams and balance some of the scheduling.
That's the biggest one.
From the corner for Chattanooga, a lot of traffic to fight through, the foul called. That's something that maybe does need to be addressed. It's been a common thing coaches have brought up, that in these groups you don't play every team in your group necessarily, and things were set out the way they were to mitigate travel, to try to balance competition and balance the number of League One teams and with championship teams. So many things factored in. The reality of the situation is this is a living, breathing tournament that in a living, breathing ecosystem with expansion teams every year and the number of teams changing every year will continue to fluctuate slightly. Perhaps next year, I don't know, there's 44 teams and you can have 11 groups of 4. I'm not breaking any news here. I'm just going off the cuff. And maybe it tweaks that way. But the fact of the matter is, whether there's 11 groups of 4 or what we have now and quarterfinal or to a round of 16, whatever is out in the ether as far as possible future tweaks, the drama, to your point, is going to hold. The quality is going to hold. And the entertainment value, as USL Championship teams and USL League One teams compete, that is going to hold. Just look at the group we were talking about earlier in Group 1 with Spokane going on the road and upsetting the Oakland Roots today. And now maybe AC Boise doing the same thing. Way off his line is Ricardo Jerez. And he got it right. The net is empty. It's falling from the sky, but it's wide.
How much contact here is on Hackinson, by the way. Thought he took one. And with the goalkeeper this far out, studs up, you've got a real conversation. But that angle looks more so like he gets clean on the ball. Had us very close to give another one up. Well read in the end.
All about holding on now for San Antonio. A win or a draw in 90 minutes. Enough to win the group. They have their sights set on more, though. A statement here and keeping the momentum going. Akeem Ward, a nice touch. Jerez has it. Centered by Bentley, nobody home.
This game has quickly become overserved.
It is Margaritaville night here at Toyota Field.
Be careful if you're San Antonio. You're playing with fire, continuing to open yourself up this much. Got to close the gaps within your midfield and back line and see exactly what this Chattanooga team are made of. Okay, that's not English. Apologies. Pedro Hernandez has really started to come into his own on that left-hand flank for Chattanooga. Continuing to find him in the absence of Omar Hernandez. As much as they needed a change of identity on the attacking side of the ball and better balance between the two groups, they're also rotating. They got to play Alta on the weekend in League One. Top 4 team in the standings right now.
Corner coming for Chattanooga. There's been moments in this game where they've pressed and they've done some good. This is their 5th corner. They have 5 shots, 1 on target. A couple of yawning net mouths that were begging for a ball to be tapped home in this second half and try to claw back. Scott McKenzie and crew, positives to take away from your road trip to one of the top teams in the division higher. And they latch onto something tangible and find that first goal. Bentley, nice move.
Work. Cut it.
Bentley still alive here. Flag stays down, punch clear by Sanchez. And 2 defenders still on the goal line, which kept Grayson Mercer on.
Well, I don't know what's more impressive, Sanchez coming off his line or the absolute brick wall that he ran into, creating contact with Mercer from Chattanooga. I mean, he did not move.
Well done in the corner. Flores Blanco out for a San Antonio throw.
Again, watch the backside of your screen. Great read by Sanchez, goalkeeper from San Antonio, but I mean, literally does not move. I'd like to give all the credit to the beard, but I won't.
It's the leg day.
Yeah, it never skips a leg day. That's what it is.
Yellow brandish for time wasting. Flores Blanco joins Mitchell Tainter and Lucio Beron in the book for San Antonio.
Here would be one of the biggest losers within this tournament right now, and it's 2 teams. Coming in, there were only 2 teams in the tournament overall that had clinched. Tampa Bay Rowdies in Group 7, they won their group outright, and Colorado Springs. But New Mexico United and El Paso Locomotive, who've been decent on the attacking side of the ball, who both had 6 points to their name, you would think one of them should easily finish on 9. No, they're in a 0-0 draw. That's where you get on the bat line and just say one of you go kick it in your net. To have 2 representatives from the group and certainly the Western Conference of USL Championship go through. That's the brilliance of it, though. The quality we see across the board in overall play, and the idea of, yeah, these teams have to go through, to all of a sudden the wild card poking its head out because of the willingness to go forward and attack.
Something on for Chattanooga. Confident keeping Richard Sanchez, decisive off his line. Lombardi, another corner coming while San Antonio prep 2 changes. Diogo Pacheco, Christian Sorto set to come on.
I like this right side right now. Lilin, Bentley, and Lombardi. Ton of work rate between the 3. But as Lombardi kind of has this ever-changing presence, working out of that striker position, Bentley's done a really good job pushing high, and that releases space for Lilin to come down underneath. Great distributor of the ball off the right side.
Lombardi well taken, but Sanchez there at his back post.
I said this during our chat with head coach Scott McKenzie. The first time I got an opportunity to converse with him was back in 2022. At that point in time, he was the head coach of the developmental program Park City. And the Park City Red Wolves' identity was, wants to go forward quickly. They want to get in behind as fast as possible, press, win second, third balls, high tempo throughout all of this. And then they want to pair that with good patience, the ability to recognize when and where to go, and to manage, when to manage the game, when to let it fly in open areas of play. And I joked them and said, yeah, it's too bad that doesn't translate to your team now in League One. It's the exact same model that you have in front of you. Really impressive young manager who is quickly rising through the ranks of American soccer.
And to that point, his quick rise, we're seeing it. We talked about the players rising from USL League One in the championship. Dominic Casciato won a championship with Union Omaha in USL League One. Now he's leading the first place top side Tampa Bay Rowdies in the USL Championship after he took over in the last season. Scott McKenzie's one of those names to watch. Could he be next to ascend to the ranks in the USL as well? There's Blanco delivering toward Ward.
They had a +32 goal differential turnaround and a 37-point jump from 2024 to 2025. Saw them go from the bottom of League One to finishing just 2 points behind in the Players' Shield race to one Knox, second overall.
Mercer chasing. Pacheco and Sorto still waiting. The moment hasn't come up yet to come in for San Antonio. They've been sitting there for about 3 minutes now. Carlos Jamosa desperately trying to get those fresh legs up top. You'd imagine it's for Patino and Hawkinson, but to be determined still. First 20 minutes of the second half have belonged to Chattanooga. Is there a payoff? Floated in again toward Mercer, misjudged by Tainter.
Tainter misjudged it and actually threw the rhythm off of Mercer, who's just over his back shoulder. His vision just has trouble judging it. Beautiful ball by Pedro Hernandez, and right there, wants to step through, then starts to peel away, and indecision causes inconsistency on the follow through, and certainly not enough power to beat the goalkeeper. They're multifaceted though, Chattanooga. Really direct here to start the second half, and I like the aggression we've gotten out of Matthew Acosta and Wine and Wessels. That's also where you can start to play through. A lot of chasing going on from San Antonio centrally as we speak, and making friends in the process.
Patino really getting into it. Well, in there as well. It did seem like Patino was the instigator there. Had him in a bit of a headlock.
That should be yellow for both. The initial infraction, shove in from behind, way too handsy, comes up high, and then the response. Gotta be careful there if you're Lilin. Arm up around the throat could easily get you sent to the showers.
Involved parties, as you mentioned in the book. And now those changes finally for San Antonio. Nicky Hernandez replaced by Diego Pacheco. Figuring out who the other sub is for Sorto. You wonder if the yellow card to Patino might have changed the equation.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Otherwise, why the delay here?
Because they also, Patino's still making his way back from injury, and they want to get that odometer to continue to tick off, but within it...
No, it's going to be Hawkinson.
I'm a little surprised by that. Hawkinson also picked up a knock on the other end, remember. Combination with Jerez, goalkeeper from Chattanooga, in that end-to-end combative moment.
Chattanooga, Angelo Kelly Rosales getting set to check in as well. As is Rapapa Mensah. Maybe their final two substitutions, but they're going to hold off. Well, wait for the next one.
First thing I'm doing after this set piece, if I'm Chattanooga, is pushing Baron and Kalov around in the midfield. And this is going to open up a gap within the front line. It's going to create fresh legs and allow them to be more direct. also isolates them defensively and could get them into trouble early on.
Entering the bench for Chattanooga, number 20, Mohammed Mensa, and number 35, Angelo Rosales.
Pedro Hernandez and Jordan Ayambila, the two players giving way. Angelo Kelly Rosales and Papa Mensa. It's interesting, you and I had a match earlier this season with Angelo Kelly Rosales. He was playing with Asheville City in US Open Cup, a USL League Two team. And we felt that day he was just biding his time before an opportunity came about, and it came about in Chattanooga. 10 appearances in all competitions, making 11 now for the Red Wolves since signing at the beginning of May.
Certainly his resume, Angelo Kelly, speaks for himself. Such a tenured player for the Charleston Battery. So many years for Mike Anhauser. Then on to Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. His talents most recently for current title holders of USL League One and One Knox. For now applying his trade. Flexibility on the back line at the outside back position. Great vision, tempo player in the midfield, knows how to throw his weight around. Something that fits quite nicely into this game. One thing that we haven't addressed, by the way, opportunity for players on both sides for sure. But as it relates to League One, you speak to head coach Scott McKenzie, and knowing that they were eliminated, I said, you guys take any idea into the locker room of playing spoiler? He goes, no. We want to be a proving ground to ourselves and other League One clubs of our ability on any given night to compete with the championship team, right? And for large portions of this match, they've been able to do it. The idea that you have someone like Angelo Kelly coming off the bench to assist you in that process is where we talk about the talent pool slimming between championship and League One.
Just under 20 minutes remaining. All San Antonio needs, remember, is a point out of this to win the group. So, barring a collapse which sees them concede 3 to Chattanooga, they are going through as the group winners. Birmingham Legion, they would have needed Miami to score fewer goals against Sarasota, or to have scored more of their own against Tulsa. As it stands, Miami would be the wild card team and Birmingham would be out. Birmingham's only hope right now is a Chattanooga comeback. Papa Mensa trying to find the first one on that road back for the Red Wolves. Denied by Mitchell Tainter.
What a ball. Oh.
It looked like Sorto was going to make the cut.
A little bit too much tempo on it. That's where you need the English on the ball to check up and hold for the runner.
Lengthy conversation with Carlos Jamosa about this team, its future, its ceiling, and where they can go. We saw the really good early in the season. We saw a little bit of a snag that they hit midway through the first half of the season. Coming out of it, though, now San Antonio. I really do wonder what this team can accomplish this year. The pieces are there. The back line is there. The attacking options are there. Putting it all together is the question. Back to that in a moment. Chattanooga pressing again. Looking back post. Lombardi heads it square. Begging to be hit at the edge of the area. It is, but it's over the bar.
Well, maybe more clear from San Antonio in championship play. Less distinct from Chattanooga. Within this match overall. It's a decent ball in. A glimpse of what they can prove. Again, late lying runs. 6 players. top of the 18 and the opportunity to at least pull one back. And what has become more definitive over the course of the evening, the group leaders. Now, friendly reminder, Colorado Springs, Group 2, Tampa Bay Rowdies, Group 7, had already clinched prior to the final match in Prinx Tires Cup. And that Battery positioning right now is on a tiebreaker as they're currently tied with the Charlotte Independence. So head-to-head, they're on a draw, doesn't matter. Total wins, they would have the same amount. That would also go to goals for to win the group, which currently is 7v5. Mike Jeffries and Ben Pierman. I'm shocked that I didn't get any sort of love whatsoever, the amount of numbers I was throwing out, that everything was spot on, and yet you denied me any love.
I was just double checking to make sure, and then I was going to give you the love.
Okay.
If that counts for anything. The one thing that I did want to double check too was still the score lines elsewhere, which are still holding. And I was going to point out the only team on that list that we showed that is a part of USL League One would be Spokane Velocity, and their hopes right now are contingent on Boise beating Sacramento. That's 1-0 Boise at the half, so that one is still holding. Free kick from Chattanooga. Punch cleared by Sanchez, who's fouled. So back to the San Antonio team. As far as the pieces they have, Devin, I'll turn the question to you. Carlos Chamosa is hopeful of the way things can go for this team. I think if I was asked the question, would be hopeful that the pieces are there. What do you say about this team? What is this team's ceiling as the year goes about? Are they a legitimate Player Shield contender, title contender, USL Cup contender? Is this a team that is going to be lifting hardware when all is said and done this season?
Well, going to be is a very different conversation than possibly. I don't see them right now as a Players' Shield contender. The Tampa Bay Rowdies are firmly in the lead for that. And the reason being, one, they got to get healthy, San Antonio. Player like the loanee Thiago Suarez on the back line, he will be the starter over Danny Barbier. It gives you a different look, both in possession and defensively. They need that. The depth within the midfield, we've seen a glimpse of what they need tonight, and guys like Kurt Kalov, defensively Lucio Baron. When it's just Kalov and Mikey Maldonado, two players does not a recipe make for depth for Carlos Chamosa. So you get into 3 and 4, all right, now we're testing the depths. But I'm looking at one player up top definitively that has to be a game changer for San Antonio. And the problem for them in the 9 spot is that's been a conversation for 18 months. They have not had that one player who can just throw the team on their backs and push come to shove, produce goals. I'm not talking about a playmaker like Jorge Hernandez, who can do goals and assists. I'm talking about a guy that's going to give you 14, 15, 16 goals, be in the running for the Golden Boot race. They don't need to win the Golden Boot, but they need a head turner. So I'm also not going to be shocked. Maybe at the end of the season, they don't have a 15-plus goal scorer, and that player may not be on this team right now.
Right.
Movement in the transfer market would not shock me for San Antonio FC to help supplement their attack second half of the season.
From the conversation of the Chattanooga side and chatting with Scott McKenzie, he also believes in the ceiling of his team. And right now, Chattanooga sit in 10th place below the playoff line in the regular season. However, they have at least one game in hand on everybody above them. In most cases, they have 4 games in hand on the teams above them. They're 4 points back at the playoff line. On a points per game basis, they're going to be sitting somewhere around 4th or 5th right now. To your point about that runaway goal scorer for San Antonio, what stuck out in the chat with Scott McKenzie, Rapapa Mensah, a player who is on a couple of goals right now. He said if we're going to reach our ceiling, that's a player who has to go from 2 goals this season to about 14 or 15 when it was all said and done. So they have hopes, but it's also contingent on players making that same leap as the San Antonio side.
Margin's much tighter in League One this year because of that talent pool. Now we're back to that conversation, right, how it continues to grow. So it is more difficult to win games. That's where the biggest gap is. This Chattanooga Red Wolves team, again, finished second, just 2 points behind One Knox in the Players' Shield race in 2025. At the same point in the season last year, they were on 20 points with 5 wins. They have 6 wins and 19 points right now. So games in hand, the margins tightening a little bit, health, all of this in the aggregate are going to play out for them.
Christian Sorto, first meaningful touches since subbing on, delivering. Coutinho pulled away. He thought that Alexi Sawahi was going to get there. Fell between them. Taken back by Chattanooga. You wonder if San Antonio, with a 2-goal lead and knowing that at least a tie is enough for them tonight, if they ease off the throttle. But Chattanooga have looked the better side for the majority of this second half and have dictated the play.
I'd also make the case the final 10 minutes of the first half, they were in it as well. Fought back nicely. Look, there's a 100-second gap just before halftime that saw Kirk Kalov and that young man right there, Coutinho, double for San Antonio FC. Currently the same scoreline. Mostly cruise control defensively ever since. But he's also, Coutinho is the type of player where he gets hot, watch out. He is the type of striker where you find him right place, right time. He's a confidence-driven guy. All of a sudden, you turn your head, boom, 3 more goals in cut play. 8 goals in 5 games in league play. That's the type of charisma he carries as a number 9.
Chattanooga, if 3 goals is out of the equation and playing spoiler here, at least finding something will be a propeller for them going into a busy week ahead. Some dates to remember going forward. The draw coming up on Monday, 1 Eastern on the USL's YouTube channel. Dan Lucas, Devin Currier hosts. August 12th, the quarterfinal. September 9th, the semifinal, culminating in the final on October the 4th.
It's a beautiful little Sunday.
Oof. I was gonna say, you get it's a nice little setup. You get a little bit of something in this USL Cup every month now the rest of the way. You've got, of course, the final day of group play today. You've got a round in the month of August, a round in September, and the final in October.
Thanks, Archimedes.
And that final on October 4th will be right here on ESPN2. Because of perhaps easing off the throttle a little bit, it does look better statistically for Chattanooga overall. Shots are tied 9-9, 4 shots on target for San Antonio to 3 of Chattanooga. Possession still 70-30 firmly in San Antonio's favor, but this second half, Chattanooga has made some noise. Maldonado. Kalov. His goal is the real difference maker right now. Kalov would be a completely different conversation if it were just still 1-0. Sorto looking to tack on. That Patino goal in the 45th minute, but Kalov doubling down 100 seconds later. Took the air out of Chattanooga's spoiler hopes, it seemed. And it gave San Antonio just an air of confidence into this second half.
It is funny, by the way, when you think about having game changers within your group, and we'll relate it to the championship squad in San Antonio FC. Joey Batrini, excellent season in goal so far. 2 real high-quality center backs, and Alex Cronelli and Mitchell Tainer anchoring that back line. Mikey Maldonado working into the midfield. We'll get into his individual profile in a second. Jorge Hernandez operating in that front 3. I mean, dear Lord, that's pretty solid. But again, it's moving the needle in the final 18 yards.
And that's what the discussion overall is for San Antonio and why it's so interesting. You and I had their match a couple of weeks ago against Colorado Springs, and we were asking Carlos Llamosa questions and having a conversation that we would typically have, Devin, with a team who's below the playoff line, who's maybe lost 5 out of 6 games. And we have to keep reminding ourselves that this is a team that was in second place and had a chance with a win that night to go into first place. And they're still in that position. A game in hand, a chance to go to first. Here they are winning a group in USL Cup. So it's more a case of what they are and what they can be, because we know what that ceiling could look like for a team that won it all in 2022 and feels like the pieces are there again. It's just a weird catch-22 for San Antonio. Conversations that we have that make them out to be like they're a 9th place team pressing for the playoff line, and yet they might be the class of the Western Conference. Barbier, Ward, settles. Numbers accumulating in the box for San Antonio. Quieter in the second half. Ward, he finds Sorto. Breaking down at the last moment. Second half has begun in Boise. Up 1-0 on Sacramento. Corner coming for San Antonio.
It is funny, by the way, when you look at the individual idea of just being a runaway goal scorer. In the last 12 years of championship play, only one Golden Boot winner has won a title.
It's not necessarily a correlation. It's odd.
No, if anything, it's the opposite side of the ball.
It's almost a testament to the teams that don't over-rely on one guy, that they are the ones who you favor more.
Well, most have said that. We've got a group. The problem is that group can't be a ragtag 4 or 5 goals here and there. Someone's got to step up and bag at least 10.
I was just ready to update you on the fact that the Charlotte Independents took a 2-1 lead and a group lead over the Charleston Battery, but in the 30-odd seconds that it took for me to look at that, Charleston scored, and it's 2-2 again, so Charleston on the tiebreaker, back to the top of that group.
Do you know the Golden Boot winner that won a title, by the way?
Oof. Dangerous ball into the back post, and I'm not stalling, I promise, but I'm actually stalling. You said in the last how many years?
12. Dates back to 2014.
I'm out.
Cameron Lancaster, Lou City, 2018. To be fair, the stat should have an asterisk, as the 2020 final never happened. The Golden Boot winner was Junior Flemings. He would have played in that final against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Alas, the heart was left wanting. Still have memorabilia from the final, so I said it happened.
If it means anything, I was going to say Cameron Lancaster, I promise you that.
Obviously.
I had no clue on the year.
Nice ball.
Flores Blanco centering, E.J. Johnson goes down, decision to be made, play on. And that's more a testament to Cameron Lancaster, by the way, because he had so many years where he was up there and scoring, and so many years where Lou City were at the top of the heap. Bentley. Tainter staying with him stride for stride. Gets it off anyway, Bentley. Now penalty shout the other way. Tainter calmly clearing his lines. San Antonio at this point certainly out of the woods in terms of the objective of winning the group. Hard pressed for Chattanooga to score 3 goals now, but you know, Carlos Chamosa is hoping for that clean sheet more than anything else right now. For a team that had been struggling to cobble them together after it was clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet to begin the season. Coming off a hard-fought 0-0 draw against Monterey Bay, in which they played down 1 man because of a red card, 2 men because of injury and lack of substitution window. So down 2 men for the better chunk of that second half and held on to the clean sheet. Just a little while away from a clean sheet here if they can hold on, and that one trickles wide.
Speaking of Monterey Bay, another result, 2-0 over Vegas.
footsteps.
Oh, Scavello
getting
there.
louder.
Yeah, it's impressive. Much better structure. Pressing-wise has been unstoppable. Clean, moving forward.
New Mexico have gone up 2-0 on El Paso. They need 4 goals with about 5 to 10 minutes remaining, depending on stoppage time, to overtake Miami. Getting closer and closer to being able to solidify Miami as that wild card team. Not done yet. That draw takes place again on Monday, 1 Eastern, on the USL's YouTube channel. The only quirk to keep in mind as it pertains to that draw is you cannot have the wild card team drawn in the same group as their group winner. So Miami and Tampa Bay would be separate. Everything else, though, is fair game.
Pretty sure Miami would be okay with that.
Anybody would be okay with avoiding Tampa Bay for as long as possible.
Oh, Lord, the Rowdies nearly unstoppable all season long.
3 minutes of added time. Had a 2-0 win today over FC Naples in cup play. They were coming off of a 4-1 defeat at home against Lexington. It's a little bit more of a testament to Lexington and the corner they've turned.
And look, if you're head coach Scott McKenzie from Chattanooga, sure, you're going to be disappointed, but I think you would agree with me on this. Long stretches in this game where they were toe-to-toe with San Antonio. He's got rotation in the squad with what he has available to him. So smart, getting guys like Omar Hernandez, Josh Ramos off to get fresh legs for the match against Alta. Watch out. That's a bad tackle on the weekend, and still with games in hand in the League One table.
From a long way out, Kalov did not miss by much. The confidence of his goal in first half stoppage time nearly begetting another.
See in the moment from Akeem Moore. This is a rough tackle for him. Credit to the wingback who had come all the way back over on the set piece touchline and going to ground. Oh man. It's the follow through on the studs. Then the audacity to try and be a stud by Kalov. Someone's been playing FIFA. Like staring in a mirror for me. Hit one against my 6-year-old this morning in the backyard. Kid didn't know what was coming.
Yeah, put that on the resume.
Oh, the best part was he actually did score. I was up 4-1. They said next goal scored, and he scored. next goal wins, and he scored. So
is he taller than me yet? Getting there?
Everybody is.
All right.
Well, Somoza will be happy. Again, even with the letdowns at times, another strong defensive performance, back-to-back shutouts, shades of what we saw in the opening 7 matches this year. Multiple goals on the attacking side of the ball. Control on the width. And now another break until their next match.
Barbier wants one more. Oh, what a save, Ricardo Jerez. 40-year-old could still get up there. No need to take the corner. The final whistle goes. San Antonio wins it 2-0 nearly with the third. But all that matters is the job was finished. They're the winners of the group. They are into the quarterfinal. Carlos Somoza will be happy maybe more than anything else with a clean sheet as well.
And momentum just continues to build for what once was the Western Conference wonder in San Antonio FC. Shades of 2022. Their defensive presence absolutely bullying teams at times. Now being complemented with the real identity on the attacking side of the football. Into the final 8 of Prinx Tire's USL Cup. Solid position atop the Western Conference and championship play. And confidence for head coach Carlos Somoza.
Santiago Patino, who scored the first goal. That goes down as the match-winning goal. Kurt Kalov tacked on 100 seconds later at the tail end of that first half. Chattanooga fought valiantly. San Antonio took care of business in a very professional way, and standing by now, tonight's Prinx Tires MVP, Santiago Patino, for the match-winning goal. Santiago, I know goal scoring is such a big part of your game. How good did it feel to score your first since last October to get this team going here tonight?
Yeah, very happy to help the team, very happy to score again at my house. This is my home. I'm just looking forward to keep it going and get ready for playoffs.
Santi, we talked during the broadcast about how you have always produced the spectacular come knockout round competition. I remember seeing at times in 2022, you were unplayable when it came to winning the title. Where does this team feel like on the attacking side compared to the talent and the form that you guys have? And do you think you can win another title?
I think we are very strong at home. I think the second year for Carlos, we understand more what he wants. And also me, I need to adapt more to his style. But everybody's a hard-working guy in this team, and we want to push and we want to bring that title again to San Antonio.
Santiago, thank you. Best of luck. Go enjoy it with the fans.
Thank you.
His goal, the match winner. Kurt Kalov, the style points. 100 seconds later, San Antonio takes care of business. They win the game, they win the group. We're back in a moment to wrap things up from Toyota Field. San Antonio FC group thanking the fans, celebrating with them. Winners of the group here in the Prinx Tires USL Cup. They have high aspirations this year. They're near the top of the table in the Western Conference. They do top the table in this tournament. And we show you how it all went down. The goals came late in that first half.
Tempo was slow early on from San Antonio. They had good possession and had nice balance, but really struggled to have an overall presence in the attacking third. A lot of that came as the game went on due to the dominance on the right-hand flank, finally opening up an opportunity for Santi Patino in the box. You know, a back-to-goal goal scorer, really hard to argue that there's anybody better in the USL pyramid than he when he's at his best. Luring defenders out, creating space for himself, and the opener after 45 minutes of play. Just 100 seconds later, ladies and gentlemen, I present Kurt Kaloff. I mean, this is an unreal turn, run, and strike in the open field of play for the Loney. Beautiful stretch, great position, and then the precision on the back end of it to create the second goal of the night for San Antonio, reestablish some confidence. Chattanooga had a run in the second half, would never be enough, and instead, San Antonio wins Group 3.
And now the picture becoming clear. The teams in yellow have clinched their group. Spokane Velocity are getting closer. They're being done a favor by AC Boise, who are up 2-0 on Sacramento. That would give Spokane Group 1. Charleston right now, again, Charlotte, they are in the closing moments of that game. About 20 minutes to go. It's 2-2. The winner of that game wins the group. If it's a tie, Charleston will be your winner of Group 6. And right now, the pole position for the wild card not pictured there is Miami. They would be the 8th team that will be in Monday's draw, 1 Eastern, on USL's YouTube channel, as we look to set officially the quarterfinal in the 2026 Prinx Tires USL Cup. It was dramatic in the first half. We had goals elsewhere that were impacting this game, and then the goals came in this game as San Antonio took it 2-0. We're next on ESPN2 for USL action in 2 weeks as Detroit City will take on Las Vegas. That'll do it for us this evening from San Antonio. My broadcast partner Devin Kerr and the crew that make things possible. I'm Joe Malva saying so long for now. San Antonio win the night and win the group in Prinx Tires USL Cup. Good night, everybody. Took a little bit of time, but Santiago Patino breaks through for San Antonio.
His nickname is Playoff Patino. Cup runneth over year after year, certainly en route to the 2022 title. One of the lower division teams in League One.
Hernandez through, Patino going for goal! Took a little bit of time, but Santiago Patino